Bitcoin's remarkable run has employees at some of the country's biggest banks worried they may be missing out.
Both of you are significant holders of Bitcoin, buying a significant amount back in 2013. Tyler, I'll start with you. What have you been doing over the last 8 months to accommodate this meteoric rise we've seen in Bitcoin? And have you been personally doubling down on your investment in Bitcoin?
Bitcoin down today, but up 26% just this week alone. A week that saw, by the way, both BNY Mellon, America's oldest bank, and MasterCard, one of the biggest payments networks out there, announced they intend to begin using or in some way administering Bitcoin this year.
Oh yes, Bitcoin is ramming its big, beautiful head up against the gates of destiny once again. And that means that we are most likely in for yet another leg of this incredible and bountiful bull run that we've been experiencing since pretty much early 2020.
It costs a lot in terms of energy. Probably a small country is the total usage. So it's definitely something we should be aware of. And it's something that actually is fixable. People think Bitcoin is a static thing. It's not. You can change the code of Bitcoin if ever all the miners agree. So there's no reason not to fix it or to optimize it. Bill Gates is right.
There's two factors here. What we really look at CoinShares is we look at sentiment. And sentiment really drives demand. And as you alluded to, a lot of the interest in Bitcoin is coming from institutions. When we look at trends on the trading side, on the structured product side, where we operate and manage $4 billion in assets for our clients, a lot of the inflows are coming from institutions who are allocating through publicly listed exchange traded products or funds. There is retail participation, but it's nowhere near what we saw in 2017.
Every American has as much money as Jeff Bezos has. We should demand it. Where's my money, Joe? That's what I had tweeted because, they're getting ready for another $1.9 trillion to send out, and they're trying to allocate who gets it this time. And of course, the last go around, we saw basically the oligarchs plunder most of it. Ordinary people did receive quite a bit, but now they're handing out some more money.
The thesis that has taken hold right now is this idea that Bitcoin is a sort of digital gold. It's this scarce resource that governments can't mess with. Right now, central banks are printing lots and lots of money to counter the ill effects of the pandemic. And Bitcoin, people are looking to as something that is outside of that world that central bankers can't tamper with.
Square buying into Bitcoin in a big way. Curious what you think the reaction is going to be.
But like anything, the crypto kitties are so sensitive that if you say anything negative about crypto and you maybe tell people to pump the brakes or be careful putting their entire net worth into it, they all just freak out and then start sending memes to you for 12 hours on Twitter. So of course it's an issue. Any reasonable adult would say it's an issue, but so was having, bank branches. And we used to have 25,000 of them in the United States.
I think what we are seeing, where we are seeing the retail participation, is in things like Dogecoin and other sort of smaller market cap cryptocurrencies that lend themselves more to memification and, what we call meme coins or meme stocks if you look at GameStop and AMC. But really what's driving Bitcoin, in my view, is a fundamental shift in sentiment. Ray Dalio's talking about it, BlackRock's allocating to it, Guggenheim's allocating, right. All of the major allocators are now getting in.
So we've just been hodling. Our thesis is that Bitcoin is gold 2.0, that it will disrupt gold. And if it does that, it has to have a market cap of 9 trillion. So we think that prices Bitcoin it could price one day at $500,000 a Bitcoin. So at $18,000 Bitcoin, it's a hold, or at least if you don't have any, it's a buy opportunity because we think there's a 25x from here.
The problem is the money itself. That's the problem. So therefore, the solution to any of the perceived problems can never be to hand out more of the foundational problem, and that is the money itself.
If that is the case, what exactly then do people look at with regard to putting a price tag on it? How much of it is out there? You mentioned the scarcity value. What's driving the pricing dynamic right now? How do people know how much they should be paying? For stocks, you can use things like discounted cash flow analysis, dividend discount models, ways to kind of forecast out and discount back future flows. It is not the case with cryptocurrencies. How then do you drive value for that?
The global
Bob,
energy
you're being
usage.
so patient. I'm shocked you're able to contain yourself.
It's because I'm right. Pop's going to just agree.
Marty Bent, who always says Bitcoin detractors haven't done their homework. Every single data point flies in the face of what these people are saying. Bill Gates is a really smart guy, but Bitcoiners understand Bitcoin better than Bill Gates understands it. And what you find is around the world, there's a $19 billion financial incentive. That is the annual revenue of the mining industry to go find the cheapest power possible. And the cheapest power possible is in renewable and clean power. When you go and you look at places around the United States, you see companies like Great American Mining who are literally capturing gas flaring, the worst type of environmental damage in the world. They're capturing that gas flaring, and on site, they're turning it into Bitcoin mining power.
And CNBC.com reporting that employees at JP Morgan Chase have been asking when their turn will come. CNBC.com banking reporter Hugh Son joins us now with more on if and when a big bank might give Bitcoin that breakthrough moment. It's one thing when it's a custody bank, servicing assets for clients. It's quite something else when it becomes a part of the traditional banking system. Right, Hugh?
It is incredible. Bitcoin is actually the largest driver, in my opinion, of clean and renewable energy R&D in the world. If you go into certain provinces in China, 95% of the power consumption is coming from renewable energy. And the reason why it's so popular in China is because they overbuilt their hydropower capabilities. There is stranded power all over this world. And what we are finding is that financial incentives drive the world. There's $19 billion at stake today. As the price of Bitcoin continues to go up, there will be a larger and larger financial incentive. And people want to use clean, renewable energy to mine Bitcoin. They're already doing it. And Bill Gates, frankly, doesn't understand Bitcoin. He doesn't understand the power consumption. What we should be listening to is the industry experts, not people who don't understand what they're talking about. Every single data point disproves what he's saying, yet we run around because it's Bill Gates. Bill Gates was great in the 80s and in the 90s and into the 2000s. Bill Gates has been against Bitcoin, and Bitcoin has continued to prove to be one of the most important technologies over the last decade, and it will continue to persist regardless of what Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, or Jason, I love Jason, but whatever Jason says, Bitcoin will continue to still be a worthwhile technology that drives clean and renewable energy R&D around the world.
You look at the news from MasterCard just yesterday or 2 days ago, I forget, they also have payment rails as well.
Listen, I own more Bitcoin than Bill Gates, so I think I'm
Hold
gonna
on,
be
I
pretty
just
good
asked
in
you.
life.
I didn't ask you to character assassinate Bill Gates. We get it. You're a genius. Bill Gates is an idiot. What I asked you was, are there other cryptocurrencies that don't require the same energy consumption and don't mine the coins? Yes or no?
You're missing the point. It's like on a relative basis.
There you go. Can't even answer the question. It's so funny.
Well, if you allow me to answer the question, if I want to compare total energy consumption, then the U.S. banking system and the U.S. dollar is the most wasteful energy consumption we have. That would be a ridiculous argument in your opinion. What ends up happening is 74%, Fidelity, CoinShares, a number of organizations have done large-scale studies. You can use Google, just go Google it. 74% or more of all energy consumption in Bitcoin mining is renewable power. Literally, Bitcoin mining is cleaner consumption of power than the US dollar. I don't see anyone here saying that we should go stop using the US dollar because it consumes so much power and it's dirty power.
Third time.
Bitcoin is cleaner.
We have no choice but to deal with it. And it's more likely than not that they will eventually grapple with this.
It's a huge story. Like you said, one of the most heavily regulated industries out there. Hugh Son, thank you very much for that big story in JP Morgan and Bitcoin as well. I'm sure you'll stay on top of that for us.